Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 4th grade concept of area and perimeter. This is standard 4.5D in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 17 off the 2016 released STAAR test. If you have not done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and then we will look at our answers together. So Sebastian had a rectangular piece of paper that was 90 millimeters long and 50 millimeters wide. So that's going to give us a clue right here. We've got this rectangular piece of paper, and he cut the paper in half. So we are looking for the area of each half of the paper in square millimeters. So let's see if we can draw a picture of this. So let's just get our rectangular piece of paper going here. And so we've got 90 millimeters long. We'll just make this the length of here. We've got 50 millimeters wide. And then he cut the paper in half. So we don't really know if he cut it vertically, he cut it horizontally. Let's just say he did that. So if he cut it exactly in half, what we're looking at is really two halves that each have that length of 45 millimeters. And we're looking for the area of each half. So we're looking for the area of this half and this half separately. So how do we find area? Well, area is length times width. But there's a few different ways we could have solved this. So let's look at all of them to make sure that they all really do match. So we'll start with just your basic length times width. And we've got our two new numbers now, 45 and 50. So we'll say area equals length times width. And so we're going to just replace those with 45. Then we'll use parentheses here to show multiplication. 45 times 50. We'll need to do a little 2 by 2 multiplication there. 45 times 50. Put a 0 on the bottom because that first row is going to be super easy. Then really we'll just do 45 times 5. So 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 4 is 20. Add that 2. And it looks like I've got 2250. So 2,250, which is one of my options. Now, some of you, if you were doing this on your own, you might not have cut your paper in half that way. You could easily cut your paper in half. Let me draw a smaller example up here. So we've got our 90, we've got our 50. You could have cut it in half this way. And if you cut it in half that way, you have two halves, right? And then you would have widths of 25. And so really we would need to end up multiplying this 90 times the 25. So you might be wondering, well, what about if I did it that way? So 90 times 25. So that's going to be 0, and that's 45. 0 right there. That's 2 times 0 is 0, and that's 18. Take a look. We use two completely different problems. 90 times 25, 45 times 50, we got the same answer because it's the same piece of paper, and they never really told us which way to cut it in half. Or you really could have done it this way. You could have taken the whole thing. You could have said 90 times 50, and that would have been easy because we know what happens when we multiply by tens, hundreds, or thousands. Right? You multiply your non-zero digits. 4 times 5, or 9 times 5 is 45. Add your zeros. I've got 2 of them. And then all you would need to do is cut that in half. So the whole thing is 4,500, which is one of our options, right? We don't want that. And then you cut that in half, which means divide by 2. Do your little long division, which would actually take quite a while because there's going to be quite a few things in there, but guess what you're going to get? You can probably tell that you are going to get your answer of 2,250. So your answer here is C.